Session 6 of God is King. We've been saying that the kingdom of God is in the heart. There's a story in Matthew 20 of a man who owned a vineyard, and he went out early in the morning to the market square where people would stand waiting to get hired for the day. And he hired some workers, and he agreed to give them the fair day's wage, which was a denarius. Then it says he went out again at 9 o'clock, hired some more men, at midday again, at 3 o'clock. Finally, about 5 o'clock, that's an hour before knock-off time, there were still some men standing there looking for work, and so he sent them into his vineyard too. Now when the day finished and time came for them to be paid, he said to the supervisor, "Pay the ones who've just worked the last hour, pay them first." He did that, and he gave them 1 denarius, which was what the first lot had agreed to receive. When the ones who'd been working there all day saw these people getting 1 denarius, they got quite excited. Thought, wow, we're going to get a really big payday today. But they didn't. They got the 1 denarius, and they were outraged, saying it's totally unfair. Now, isn't that a fairly natural reaction? I think most of us would react a bit that way. Why should those people get paid the same as us who've worked all day in the field? And the master replied, "It's nothing unfair. You agreed to work for the 1 denarius, and that's a fair day's wage. That's enough to give your family a feed tonight. If I choose to be generous to others, what business is it of yours?" Now in my NIV translation, the next verse says, "Or are you envious because I'm generous?" But the Greek translation is more directly, "Is your eye evil because I am good?" And I think that's a lot stronger and possibly closer to what the point of the story is. The day's wage was a denarius, and that would give enough to feed the family for the day. So it's like having the basic wage. To earn any less would mean that the family would go hungry. So what the master's doing is seeing that everybody has enough for their needs. Now, if the first workers wanted those people who'd only worked an hour to be paid less, their response shows a great lack of empathy for the needs of other people. If they expected much more, it shows they're not able to be happy when other people get blessed. And the story brings this out. It brings to the fore what's actually in their hearts. And I think it's a challenge for us to think about too. Do we feel that the first workers were badly done by? Can we rejoice when we see God blessing somebody else? If we've been faithful to God, we've worked behind the scenes but never really been given much recognition, and suddenly someone comes along, their life's been an absolute train wreck, God sets them free, and they get this wonderful ministry of bringing people to Jesus, and they get great recognition for that. How do we feel? Can we rejoice for those people? See, is our true joy in seeing the kingdom of God grow? This will only come about when our love for the King is deep, and our aim in life is to see his kingdom flourish. It doesn't matter how tiny or how seemingly insignificant our part of it is. The kingdom of God is in the heart.